All right, let's rock and roll. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the inaugural, the first episode of the revamped Real Sense Retirement Show, where we're going to make real sense of retirement. I'm your host, Isaiah Real. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to me today. I decided to be consistent and start doing a podcast again with a fresh start because, since I've done this over 2 years ago, well, as you know, a lot has changed in our lives. A little bit of background about myself. I am a CFP, a certified financial planner, and, I specialize in retirement and retirement planning. I help families build retirement plans, execute those retirement plans, and I help them manage their retirement savings as their advisor so that they can enjoy their retirement. And I'll be the one behind the computer, making sure everything's running smoothly for them. My favorite part of this job is sitting down with families, hopefully like yourself, individuals who have worked for 30, 40 years, maybe in the same industry, maybe for the same company. They have a family most likely, grandkids now. But there's some commonalities. They've sacrificed, they've worked every single month, little by little. They've put monies away. They've seen their families grow. They've seen happiness. They have seen sad times. They have seen the ups and downs, and now they're ready to enjoy the fruits of their labor. And that's where we come in. So my favorite part is sitting down and hearing about the exact trips they want to take to Europe. And the piece of having every day feel like a Saturday to them. And helping them to build out a plan together so that, they can enjoy what we are talking about. I've made this podcast, and I've been thinking about this for a while, but I wanted to make this podcast to share my stories of sitting down with them, with these families and individuals, and helping them to simplify retirement planning so that they can actually enjoy their retirement. And I want to be able to share those stories with you. So in this first episode, we're going to start off with the most common question I get asked the moment someone wants to meet with me. What is that? I'll share with you. In fact, I'll mimic how they do it. They say, Isaiah, help! I want to retire. What do I do? So that's what we'll talk about today. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. So in today's episode, we are going to answer the question. I'm going to help you answer the question of, Isaiah, help! I want to retire. What do I do? So I'm going to share with you 3 action steps. Because the point of this podcast is I want to help simplify retirement for you. I don't want to make it more detailed or more complex than it needs to be. We're going to simplify it. So today, to get you on the right track, to get you started on planning for your own retirement, I'm going to share with you 3 action items that you can take today to get yourself started on the right track. So let's start with the first one. Number 1, what's the first thing I'd suggest you do if you want to begin the process of retirement? Number 1, meet with a financial advisor. And I answer these questions often, and I talk to people about it. Financial advisors, yes, we hear about some bad apples, so to speak, in the news, and usually those are the ones people talk about more than the good ones. But me being a financial advisor, and I know many other great ones out there, 99.9% of us are here to help. We're here to help you. We're here to help you ease those concerns, provide you peace of mind, give you guidance, simplify things for you. And we're also here to help hold your hand when we need to. We know there's a lot of confusion. We know there's a lot of anxiety that's involved with retirement. And we don't take that for granted. Me, and I'm talking for other advisors too as well, because I'm sure they feel the same way. We're here to help you. We're here to guide you. We're here to be on the same side of the fence you are, because guess what? We've been through this before with other individuals. Everyone's completely different. But we know the process is to help you ease those concerns along the way. So, number 1 is meet with a financial advisor. You want to know a crazy fact? a surprisingly small percentage of Americans use financial advisors. In fact, a December estimate from Statista found that in 2021, guess how many Americans used financial advisors? Guess. I'll give you a couple seconds. 4 out of 10 Americans, actually to be exact, 38% of Americans worked with a financial advisor. And if we broke that down even further, baby boomers out there, 36% of you use financial advisors. How about Gen X? Any Gen Xers out there? How about even less? 24% of Gen Xers use financial advisors. To add this into the mix, according to an article by Vance Cariaga from Go Banking Rate, a recent Vanguard study found that on average, a self-managed, meaning that let's say you manage this portfolio on your own, a $500,000 portfolio would grow to $1.69 million in 25 years if you followed a typical savings and investment rule, according to Money Talk News. However, with a financial advisor on board, that same $500,000 would grow to an average of $3.4 million. So it's up to you to decide what you're most comfortable with. There is no right answer, but I do suggest at least meeting with a financial advisor. Now, you ask, Isaiah, well, what kind of financial advisor should I sit down with? Well, I will suggest to you a couple different variations of advisors to sit down with. Number one, first and foremost, I would suggest sitting down with a CFP, a certified financial planner. These are individuals, gals, gentlemen, that have done the work. They have knowledge in multiple areas of financial planning, retirement planning, financial planning, estate planning, tax planning, insurance planning, just to name a few. They've done the work. They know how to build out plans for individuals. Another type of advisor I would suggest sitting down with would be someone who specializes in helping pre-retirees and retirees. Now, why would I suggest that? The reason I would suggest that is for two. Number one, there are special nuances to helping retirees. As a few examples, you can go to any advisor that you want, but individuals who work with retirees know their specific nuances. To give you just a few, you have to help build a withdrawal strategy, finding ways to boost income for your portfolio, helping you with deciding on Social Security benefits, lump sum versus annuities. These advisors have answered these questions day in and day out. They know the processes and the routines. It's a little bit different than an advisor that works with millennials or business owners or tech employees. So that's why I suggest trying to work with someone that specializes in retirement planning. Now, if you're still giving me pushback and you say, Isaiah, it's still not for me, well, hold on a second. And that may be true. But let me share this next piece with you. According to the Center for Retirement Research at Boston College, retirees face many financial risks, such as outliving their money, investment losses, and unexpected health expenses. So how important are these risks, and how well do retirees perceive them? The analysis finds that there is a big disconnect between how actual and perceived risks are ranked. So actual risks, what are they? In order. Number one was longevity. Number two, health. And number three was the markets. As an individual, their perceived risks were ranked this way. Number one, the market. Number two, longevity. And number three, health. So in short, retirees are overestimating market volatility and underestimating how long they will live and their health costs. And advisors know that, specifically ones that specialize in retirement and retirement planning. So they will give you a little bit of a foundation to build upon for your own retirement needs, for your own retirement planning. Again, doesn't mean you have to work with a financial advisor. You can do this by yourself. That's completely fine. But at least setting up a 1-hour consultation, sitting down with a CFP or someone that specializes in retirement planning, and helping and allowing them to help you just make sure you're on the right track for retirement. Maybe there's a couple pieces that you didn't think about and they helped add into the mix for you. So number one, to get you on the right foot, I would suggest sitting down with a financial planner. Number two, the second action I would suggest to you is discussing your retirement with your family. Now, this is important. We hear in the news, we see online, everything revolving around what? Finances, 401ks, IRAs. But we don't see enough about this, family. Think about this for a second. Why are you retiring? Most answers that I hear, maybe yourself, they want to spend more time with their family. It's not just about the money. They want to make memories. They want to enjoy taking their grandkids to get ice cream or take them to the pool or a ball game or whatever that may be. So the second thing I suggest is discussing your retirement with your family. Now, how do you go about that? What should you be doing? Well, a few things. Number one, by having a discussion with your family, it's going to allow you to share with your family your feelings and thoughts about your own retirement. It's also going to allow the opportunity to ask questions about retirement. What are you going to be doing now with your retirement? Are you going to be moving? What do you plan to do on a daily basis in retirement? It also allows your family that if they're not on the same page as you, to try and have the opportunity to get everyone on the same page. I'll give you a great example. I have a client and he was excited because he wanted to do golf and he wanted to do everything. He wanted to go golfing. He's a huge Angel fan, so he's a baseball nut, so he wanted to go to Angel games maybe a few times a month. He had a little bit of idea what he wanted to do. And guess what his wife thought? The complete opposite. She was excited because she thought he was going to be home more. And there was a disconnect there. That's where these conversations can really be beneficial because it helps everyone get on the same page. Adding to that, according to the Whitney Center, some topics to discuss when talking with your family can be this. Let me give you a few ideas. Number one, health. Allow your children to have a realistic idea about your current state of health. Are you in good health or are you not? Is there something that they should at least be aware of? Number two, living arrangements. If you're sharing your decision to move into a retirement community, let's say, let your family know when you plan on moving and why you're choosing to move to a particular community. Or maybe you're planning to move to a different state after you retire. Those things are very important conversations to have because it may change the family dynamics. So you want to make sure you have those conversations. And the third thing you can suggest with family, and this is a little bit more dark, but it does have to come up, is your future care wishes. Discuss with your children how you wish to be cared for in the event of a serious health crisis. So the second thing I would suggest to you is number two, discuss your retirement with your family. Allowing all of you to be on the same page will ease the retirement planning process, not only for you, but for everyone. And the third action, the last action I would suggest to you is have your data organized. So what do I mean by that? Assuming you're going to be meeting with a financial advisor, and even if you don't, let's just say assuming you're going to sit down at the kitchen table by yourself with a glass of wine and plan this retirement on your own, you need to have the right information in front of you. So have your data organized. Have your retirement account statements together. The most recent retirement statements, not the ones from 4 years ago. Have your Social Security statement benefits available to you to see how much will you be receiving possibly at 62, at full retirement age, at 70. What are those numbers? Have a list of all of your debts. Take out the credit card statements, the car loans, whatever those may be, the mortgage. What are those debts that we have outstanding? Make a list of all of your expenses. Your fixed costs, again, those are things that we're going to be spending. We know that we're going to be spending on a monthly basis. Groceries, mortgage, bills, electricity, utilities, you name it. The fixed costs that we're going to have on a monthly basis, write down those expenses. And also to add in, which I like to call, your retirement lifestyle. Not only your fixed costs, but what else do you want to do in retirement? What fun things do you want to do? Is that gardening a couple times a week? How much is that going to cost to get new soil and plants? Add that in. Do you want to go golfing a couple times a week or months? Okay, do we need to get new equipment? How much is that going to cost? How much is a round of golf? Add that into the budget. Those kinds of things. Add those in there. Even the little things that people forget about. The taking the grandkids out to breakfast. Add that in. The pets, if you have a pet, sometimes people forget about that. Add in their food, add in their health costs, everything in between. Add those fun things into that so it creates your retirement lifestyle. And lastly, make sure you write down your goals. What do you want to achieve in retirement? Now, everyone talks about, well, I want to make sure I have enough money saved. Yes, that is a given, so write that down. But what other goals do you want? Because what's the things that spark joy to you? Is it planning for that trip to Europe that you've been dreaming of? Is it planning to go up the coast of California? Is it buying that new car? Is it starting that small business? What are those goals that you have in mind? Write those down, and please write down all of them. There is no such thing as a dumb goal. People sometimes get scared to share those with me or with advisors in general. No, please, nothing is dumb. Share those goals with us, and if that sparks joy to you, we're going to try to help you build a plan so that you can achieve that goal. So as a recap, have your data organized. Your retirement account statements, your Social Security statements, debts, expenses. What do you want to do with your retirement lifestyle? Your goals, those are just to name a few. But have those ready and in order so that when you begin the process of planning for your retirement, you have those together. Now, to end my podcast, and this is what I'm going to be doing with every podcast episode, I'll be answering a question of the week. A question I was asked this specific week, and I'll be answering it for you. So, let's get into it. Question of the week. Is it wise to pay off my debt before I retire? That's a fantastic question. And you know what? I'm going to give you two different examples. And unfortunately, the answer to that question is, drum roll, it depends. So let's talk about that. Let's dive a little bit deeper here for a couple minutes. So let's get into this. If you have credit card debts, loans, car loans you want to pay off, ask yourself this question first. How much am I paying towards those liabilities on a monthly basis? So let me give you an example. Let's say you have $1 million saved for retirement. Your loans add up to $25,000 and you're paying $1,000 a month towards these bills, these liabilities. Let's also say that you want and you need $5,000 a month from your retirement account to live off of on a monthly basis, and that is including the $1,000 towards your liabilities. Now, of course, all of this is back of the napkin calculations for you. We're not going to include taxes. We're not going to include fees or anything else. I'm trying to make it simple for you. So this is back of the napkin math here. But based on the current assumptions that I share with you, you're talking right now about a 6% withdrawal rate from your retirement savings per year. Meaning, the hope right now is, and the goal is your retirement account is at least making 6% per year in returns to keep up with what you're taking out now. So keep that in mind. Now, if you were to pay off that debt up front, again, we're not including taxes here, that would leave you, and again, we had $25,000 in liabilities. Deduct that from what you have saved for your retirement, because we're using that to pay it off. You would have $975,000, and now you would only need $4,000 a month needed for your retirement account because you eliminated that $1,000 needed per month to pay for the debts. So based on these calculations, you would now be taking only 4.9% from your account per year, meaning you only need your investments to perform up to 4.9% to recoup what you're taking out from the account. You're putting less stress on the performance of the investments. So see how that works there a little bit? Let me give you a different example. Let's say, again, variables here. You have $1 million, and this is back of the napkin math. You have $1 million saved, $300,000 outstanding loan on a mortgage, or I should just say mortgage, You're paying, let's say hypothetically, you're paying $2,000 a month towards that mortgage, and you need $7,000 a month from your retirement account to live off of. So based off of these back-of-the-napkin assumptions, we are withdrawing 7% from the account per year. And if you were to pay off the mortgage, again, we're not including taxes here or anything else, you'd be left with $700,000 for your retirement savings. And again, deducting that $2,000 mortgage a month, now you only need $5,000 a month to live off of for retirement. So based off of these calculations, if we need $5,000 a month and we're living off of the $700,000 we have saved, we're withdrawing about 8.5% from your account. So the withdrawal rate went even higher than before. And that's going to put more stress on the house. That's going to put more stress on the investments to generate income than before you paid it off. And of course, this is just a simple example. Yes, at the end of the day, if you need to, you can sell the house. But just to give you an example of different variations of how to pay off debt, you always want to look at the withdrawal strategy. Is that withdrawal rate going to be higher or lower depending on if you paid off those debts? And so you want to make sure you pay attention to that as you ask yourself that question, can I pay off or should I pay off my debts before I retire? So that is the episode for today. I thank you so much for listening to me today. If you enjoyed this and you want to listen to more of this, please subscribe to this podcast. And if you don't mind, please make a 5-star review for me so that this podcast can rise the ranks and so that we can share this with more individuals so that they can enjoy their retirement as well. Thank you so much for listening today. I'm Isaiah Rial. I'll talk to you next week. And in the meantime, happy retirement planning. This podcast is for informational purposes only. It does not constitute a complete description of our investment services or performance. This podcast is in no way a solicitation or offer to sell securities or investment advisory services, except where applicable, in states where we are registered or when an exemption or exclusion from such registrations exist. Information throughout this podcast, whether stock quotes, charts, articles, or any other statement or statements regarding market or other financial information is obtained from sources which we and our suppliers believe reliable, but we do not warrant or guarantee the timeliness or accuracy of this information. Nothing on this podcast should be interpreted to state or imply that past results are an indication of future performance. Neither we nor our information providers shall be liable for any errors or inaccuracies, regardless of cause or the lack of timeliness of, or for any delay or interruption in the transmission thereof to the user. There are no warranties expressed or implied as to accuracy, completeness, or results obtained from any information posted on this or any linked podcast.